All right. What's up, YouTube? This will probably be my last upload video. No, I'm sorry. One of my last upload videos after I make another video with someone on YouTube. We had planned on doing this discussion regarding a topic, but this topic is about humbling yourself. If you're a Christian or you're not, this message is for you. Um, Humbling yourself requires you to be lowly at heart, grounded, meaning to lower your own self-importance, to not place your achievements above somebody else. Neither is it for you to compare your achievements as higher than someone else. It means to stay grounded, submissive, gentle, and quiet. Because when you're humble, you listen more intently and you judge less. It just goes to show that, we may make mistakes throughout our life, but we wouldn't want to become boastful because we know that we do make mistakes. Um, we don't want to, how can I say this? We don't want to like put ourselves above anybody else because it shows that we are prideful if we do that. We don't want to compare or be in competition with anybody because jealousy and envy can come out of that. So that's why humbleness is so important because pride pride is very, very dangerous. It is a disease where you feel so better than anybody else. It's that you hold this title that no one can take from you, and that is not the case. But anyways, I wanted to touch on this topic because a lot of people aren't humble, and this is where God comes in. People start to question God, and they do this in a way to where it's disrespectful. And where I'm going with this is people may blame God for a lot of things that they get themselves into, and a lot of the decisions you make reflects who you are, and a lot of the decisions that you make reflects your situation. So a lot of people probably have questioned God, like, why is my life the way it is, and why are things going bad, why are things getting worse for me? And you have to ask yourself, being the human that you are as you came into this world and to now as you're still living in this world, what decisions have you made throughout your life to contribute to some of the failures that you gained from the world? Like, you can gain failures, you can lose, and you can win at the same time. You can gain failures and you can gain wisdom. You can gain anything that you put out into the world because it comes back to you. And this is where the reaping what you sow comes into play. So you have to think about a lot of the things and decisions that you've made, that you've gotten yourself into, because God is a God of order, so you can't blame him. The thing is, when things does happen that people can't control too, I'm gonna touch on this. When there's like an unforeseen occurrence, like a flood or supernatural things, that is out of our control, but being the God that we serve in the heavens, the Most High, God has a reason for everything. And because we don't communicate with God like a human would communicate with another human, um, our revelations won't come unless we actually seek out why did this happen for real, because God has all the answers. God is in control of weather and all of that. But when it comes to our personal decisions and a lot of things that happen, you have to like remember that you make these decisions. This world was created by God. His design and his wisdom is surpass any human inclination or any human imagination. So with that being said, like, you have to understand God's laws and regulations are not being followed throughout the whole world. So when you go against God's commandments, it's like you're going against yourself, your creation, because he made us. He made us in his image. So if he made us and we do the complete opposite of what he told us not to do, you are destined for failure. And that comes with relationships, and that comes with what we eat, that comes with every little single thing that we live for. We live for God, because if we live by what God implemented for us to follow, his laws and regulations, it would be a whole lot easier. um, I say this because a lot of the times people will make dumb decisions, and I can account for this. I made plenty of dumb decisions when I was younger, especially dating guys, talking to different guys, having fun with different guys. And it was just like at a point where I didn't really realize what I was doing was wrong, because I was attracted to these men as if they were that, as if they were like my own body. Like everything that I did, they had to do. Like if I gave you love and you gave me love, and I gave you money, you give me money. Like we were living as if we were married, and I wasn't married to these men, but I was in infatuation, thinking that we are together. This is my boo thing, and nobody can stop us. We are in love, but it was more so lust. And I would just basically give myself to these guys for it to be just this one night, so they can leave the next morning. And I wasn't getting nothing in return from this relationship or these experiences. It would just keep repeating itself as if I had no partner. It was just, okay, if I don't like you, I'm moving on to someone else. It was a never ending story. So that's why I said, like, you got to be careful out here, because if you are developing relationships with just the next guy after the next guy, you're not married, number one. So anything could come in. It's a risk of pregnancies, diseases. So when God says you must not fornicate, that is saving your body for your own good. Like he's saving yourself from all these diseases and these babies that are being born without a father, or just anything in general that will harm you as an individual. He's not doing this to harm you. And that's why people are so infatuated with falling in love. People are so infatuated with finding their one true partner. But that partner, you can try to find him all day, but once you break God's law into sleeping with this person, you find out things way after the relationship. So why would you even get involved? I don't care if you've been dating for 2 or 3 or 5 years before you decided to have sex. If y'all didn't get married and you decided to have sex with this person, that don't mean that you're guaranteed a marriage, because that person can walk away at any given time. It's always a consequence between your decisions versus God's decisions. God already made his law. He said, don't do that. It wasn't a kind reminder. It wasn't oh, okay. It was a law. It's still a law. He said, do not fornicate. Do not fornicate. It's so serious to him that you can die in your sins. You can die in your sins. That's why he tells you to stop. He doesn't want anyone to perish. It's like he has no choice, because he's a holy God. He said, what good are you going to be in my kingdom, in the heavens? Because when you get to heaven, you're not going to be thinking about a guy. You're not going to be thinking about a girl. You're going to be thinking about Jesus, because you're going to be with Jesus every single day. So it's like, what good do these people do for you to break God's law? Now, if you decide to break God's law and fornicate, and you're not married, you're going to have to take all the consequences that come along with it. Because let's say you get an STD or you get pregnant and you didn't want it. You're just going to have to sit on that and think about your decisions. Wow. I should have just stayed and listened to God while you had the opportunity. And I know people are going to say, well, you can do that. You can catch an STD when you're in a marriage. So that's why I said, guys, if you don't pick the right man or the right woman, if you're just picking these foreign people that you just decided to marry, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the one for you, A lot of the times, we rush into things without God's approval. And that's because you don't have a relationship with God. A lot of the times, relationships don't work is because you don't even have a relationship with God. So when you jump in a relationship with a guy God is not even thought of. You just have you and the guy. So when things fall apart, you have nothing to rely on. And it's just the fact that you will put yourself through this harm and heartache through with a human being, right? And you forget about your own body. You forget about your self awareness. You forget about yourself in general. And you forget about God, the creator of everything. So it's like you don't even know who God is. You know, you didn't even ask him if this is the person for me, because he made man and female, male and female from the beginning to subdue the earth and inhabit the earth. So his plan was for a man to be with a woman. You know, when Adam was created, you know, he was lonely, and God created Eve and put him in a deep sleep and took his rib and created this woman. Adam was so happy. He was like, wow, this is at last, bone in my bone. That's because God was in the picture. God created man and woman. He was always there to create the man and the woman to get married. So when you do the opposite of what he created in the first place, it's not going to work either way. You know, but hey, that's just another, you know, thought for you to think about. But let's say you picked the wrong man, but you decided, you know, to get married. Y'all didn't have sex before marriage. Y'all did it right then. But he happened to be the wrong man. It's good that you still got married, you know. So I'm not saying like because you picked the wrong man and you got married and did it God's way, still stuff can't happen. Stuff will happen. Stuff will happen, you know. But he might be the wrong man for you to agree with, to do the majority of, you know, relationship things with. Like, you guys just don't see eye to eye. You're not agreeing with certain things. You guys cannot come to a compromising decision. You guys are always arguing. He might not just be the right partner, but because you follow God's rules and regulations of getting married, you know, you will have mercy. You will have that faith to continue on to building your marriage, because a lot of times it may be personality clashes, you know, within your home. You have to, knowing that you never consulted God in the beginning, you know, and you just decide to marry somebody that you don't have no common ground with. I mean, it is hope, you know, because people are different. It is hope. It is hope. The whole thing is to just continue to grow your relationship with God inside of that relationship, because God has to be our final court. You know, everybody have differences. Everybody goes through their trials and tribulations, but as long as you have God, God will find a way. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. It will never be easy if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the easy way out of things, then you can just, you know, give it up, because nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. Everything is a fight until the end of the days. When Jesus comes back, you know, we still have to fight. We have to fight with the spiritual realm. You know, it's not, everything isn't physical. We're not just fighting with the physical. You can, I mean, how many fights you have been in throughout your life? You can't probably even count, or you probably haven't even been in a fight at all. But those of you who have been into fights, that's all we knew. Like, not all we knew, but that's something that we have experienced physically. But how many fights have you been through spiritually that you cannot see, that you just felt like something was off? You don't even know, because you're up here battling the physical. You can't even see the spiritual. So like, just know that the attacks that comes within your home, family life are going to be spirit forces that are not of God. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, always consult God first before you make a big decision on getting married, because now you got his opinion. It's like God is it's like he's his own person. Like, so you can talk to him, you can tell him, God, is this the person for me? Is this the right person I should be marrying? Or whatever you want to ask him. Now you got him to make the decision for you. God doesn't force you to say, hey, ask me first. Hello? I mean, like, we are his children, so like, why wouldn't you want to ask God? because you decided to jump into something without asking God, you can't blame that on him either, because he gives you free will to do whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to marry somebody, you should already be getting signs from the Holy Spirit that this person is not for you. And I say this because people act like when they get married, the signs weren't there. They were always there. They're just still and gentle. Like, that's why when people say sometimes when God talk, he talks in a still, gentle voice, meaning the signs are there. It's loud, but it's quiet at the same time. So, like, if you notice something in your spirit that does not sit right with you, that before you got married and you see about this person, that is a sign saying don't get married. There is always a sign. And I hate hearing these stories like, I didn't know. Yes, you did. These signs will appear to you like, nah, you will get an immediate response from your body. Like, this isn't the one. And you know how to really tell if you know he ain't the one? Look, read the Bible and read God's laws on what he said is not forbidden. Sex before marriage, if they're trying to get up on you, if they're trying to get it quicker than they supposed to, no. If he is not following everything, and guys, this goes for you. If you know she ain't the one and she always want to come up on you, or she always want to link up, whatever, you'll know that if she's not doing everything that the Bible had forbid women and men to do, then you will know that this woman is not for you, because she's not even following God's laws. The people out there that are having a hard time with fornication, I would pray about that. Pray about the attacks that you're getting, because it's not natural to want to fornicate. It's not natural to want to have sex before marriage. That's not natural. That's not what our God made us to be. We are placed in that situation because of the imperfection and the sin of this world, the sin that our first parents had, permitted in the world. So we are sinful by nature because of our parents. It is inherited. So we have the sin ever since Eve and Adam ate that fruit. Now there's a knowledge within us, a knowledge that goes against God's knowledge. Remember the tree of knowledge of good and bad, when the snake told Eve, if you eat from this fruit, then you will acquire a deeper knowledge, and you will become like gods. That is an absolute falsity that I've ever heard in my life. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you want this deeper knowledge of sexual intimacy. Let's go into that. So now we have things that will help you get more sexual with your partner. You got these different positions. Yeah, so like ever since Eve went outside the box to try out for herself, I feel like now you have thoughts of, trying new things out. People are inviting threesomes in their marriages, and it's so accepted nowadays. Like, it's like every time, well, when I was living out in the world, every time, I would encounter, a married person, then they would like tell me like, yeah, we had a threesome. Like, almost, it never failed. I'm not saying everybody I knew, but I'm saying the majority of people that I knew that were married, that talked to me personally, have tried threesomes. It was like a norm in today's society. So it's like, this is being widely accepted. So you wonder why marriages are not working out, because you already invited the demonic spirit within your marriage. It is still there. Just because you may have invited this spirit into your household and to do this threesome with your wife or your husband, that don't mean that after y'all done, y'all didn't do it for a while, that spirit is not there. That spirit has not left, guys. And that's why I said, like, spirits are so real. Man, I gotta make another video. But yes, just understand that, guys. Be humble. This whole video was about being humble. I just went on and on, but no. Be humble. Be humble and stop blaming your decisions on God, your bad decisions on God, because if you're not consulting with him first, and you don't even know God's laws, you can't say that, yeah, God accept everything. God does not accept everything. That's why when people, I get it. People don't want you to interfere with your relationship with God. Cool, I get it. I can't come up to somebody and dictate their relationship with uh, Jesus. I can't do that. I can't tell them. I can't even. No, no. I can't come in there and tell them like I can't dictate their relationship with God because I'm not there when they cry at night, when they pray at night, whatever. But I can tell them what they gotta understand. What you have to understand. Everybody gotta understand. People can tell you, ask you questions. Do you know God's law? Do you follow God's law? Or are you just saying God accepts everything? Because right now we have to defend God. We can't just let people think that God accepts everything, because you still have to correct certain people who believe that God accepts everything, because he doesn't.